Hey everyone, Lyra Moon here. Welcome back to another pick a card reading for today, April 19th. Now tonight, into the early morning of the 20th, we are going to have our eclipse. I'm pretty sure it's really early morning. Kind of just depends on where you're at. So we're definitely going to be looking into a lot of eclipse type energy. Now, as we've been talking about the last couple of days, this is a really big moment where the universe shines a light on something in our lives that we have been running towards, pushing for, wanting things to change, and now we're going to get that opportunity. So make sure to be very mindful of the choices and the decisions that you make during this upcoming period, because they will set the stage for the rest of your life, okay? All right, all you gotta do is follow your intuition, let it guide you to the message that is right for you, and I will do the rest, starting with card number 1. All right, for those of you that picked card number 1, we have the 9 of Wands. Like I said, it's a very turbulent type of energy. This is not going to be a very gentle eclipse. And that's, I think, what we're finding here is, for those of you that picked card number 1, you may be already in the thick of it, already experiencing some major shifts of your foundations within your life. This is coming to terms with, maybe something that you didn't want to acknowledge or something you didn't want to look at. And now you feel really kind of just exhausted and worn down from just this overwhelming amount of information. And right, this can definitely happen when we're talking about solar eclipses, because they will affect us 9 days before the actual date and 9 days after the eclipse comes. So lots of time to ruminate and find new things out about ourselves, as well as our situations that we're involved in and the dynamics within the relationships we have. So if you got this card, this is good, because ultimately, no matter what happens, no matter which way you look at an eclipse and then Mercury retrograde on the 21st, it's all leading to a deepening of our awareness, of our appreciation and gratitude for what we have right now. And unfortunately, for some of us, for a lot of us, the majority of us are going to be going through a massive transition. This means dealing with looking at things that we've neglected, having life kind of throw it in our face and go, you can't run from this anymore. You have to address it. And once you look at it, you have to face it. You have to make a change about it, because it's not going to align with your higher self. So as much as it's going to be rough, as much as it's going to be tough, it's definitely a very welcomed opportunity of growth, because this may not, what ends up happening, what ends up coming of all of this is that it may not necessarily lead you directly to what you want, but it is setting the stage. And then come, end of July, we're going to have this big moment of conflict where, everything that was set during this time frame gets a stage. And then towards September, October of this year, that all is going to become resolved in one way or another. So my soldiers in arms, fighting the good fight. Let me know if you guys picked number 1. My heart goes out to you, because we're all going to go through it. It's just, that's how it goes. We're all going to go through a major awareness and go, wow, well, I didn't know that. Oh my God. Okay. All right. I need to change. I got to do this. I got to, make room for that and let go of this, because, oh my gosh, it's not working out the way I thought it was. So, keep soldiering on, guys. Okay. For those of you that picked card number 2, we have the 7 of Pentacles. Yeah, pretty much right on track. So for those of you that picked 7 of Pentacles, this is to say we are gonna be dealing with energy that makes us rethink of our futures and what we have currently. I see planting new seeds, having some hurt feelings that the seeds that we've planted already have not really come into fruition the way that we had hoped, and just wanting things to become a certain way or things to happen, move more quickly. Don't try to speed time up, because time is just, we have a finite supply of it. Even though moments aren't always going to be the best, we have to enjoy them for what they are and take from those moments, the difficult ones, the good ones, everything, the lessons that we were meant to learn. And the sooner that we learn those lessons now, the easier it's going to be later. Because if we don't learn those lessons, it's just going to get more difficult. I see some of you really kind of mapping out your life, looking over your budget, looking at what doesn't work anymore, throwing some stuff away. Even, plans to change up the house a bit. What do you want to, what do you want your environment, your space to look like? So there's a changing of the way that we do things, and taking the time to really pour that energy back into ourselves, because we've been spreading it really thin everywhere else, and now you get the opportunity to put it back into you. Spend this time wisely. Again, during Mercury retrograde, don't want to necessarily start anything that wasn't already initiated prior to the retrograde. So prior to the 21st, if you haven't already if you haven't already begun the papers to sign for a new job or something like that, and it happens after the fact, it's not going to work out. If it's something that is done prior, it will be successful. So definitely a time to reconnect, recalibrate, and reassess what it is that makes you happiest, and go towards that. Okay. All right. Moving on. For those of you that picked card number 3. Yep. We got the 3 of Swords reversed. Yeah, that's how it goes. It's just how it is. During this retrograde and eclipse period, we will be asked to really reassess some of our dynamics and whether or not they're healthy, whether or not they're good for us. And some of us will be letting go of relationships that are no longer favorable, or no longer successful. Others will be readjusting their relationships. So starting to communicate more about what you need, what you don't need, what you would like to see. So starting to put down boundaries. Every boundary that you put down is an act of self-love. So do it. Things need to change. They're not quite working out the way they are. And for others, it's not working. This is just done. It is what it is. It's time to move on. You've learned what you've learned, and you're ready to let go, because honestly, holding on has only continued to hurt you. And so now you're ready to move on from it altogether. Embracing, what comes. There's challenging, there's pain, there's hurt, but that's okay, because luckily the universe, again, for those of us who are going through these harder aspects of life in this current moment, Mercury retrograde really is kind of like, anytime we have retrogrades, everyone thinks they're bad, right? But ultimately, it comes down to your perception of them. When we have a retrograde, you can look at it as everything's just going to go poorly, or miscommunications is not going to work out, or whatever. But at the same time, it also just kind of gives us this bubble cocoon of time where nothing new is really being initiated, which allows us to kind of slow down and look at what isn't working, so that we can work towards what can work in the future. And that only happens when the universe gives us these retrograde periods. So it's a welcome little break, and you'll be able to recollect yourself and get back in the swing of who you are during this whole period up until May 14th. And we also have Jupiter helping us out pretty significantly to make sure that this retrograde period isn't a cataclysm of chaos in the most epic ways. Jupiter's going to be there to protect us, to make sure that the worst of the worst doesn't happen. But it still will be expanding upon very, very, very interesting areas of our lives. Okay, all right, thank you guys so much. I will go ahead and do another one of these for you guys tomorrow. Let me know which card resonated with you in the comments below, and let me know what you're ready to let go of, okay? Look forward to hearing from you. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.